The transfer window returns. We have Fabrizio Romano for our first installment of 2021. We talk Arsenal. We talk Amad Diallo to Manchester United. The latest on David Alaba and Real Madrid, possibly the Bryan Reynolds latest situation, AC Milan, and of course, Mauricio Pochettino and what he has to do in order to make sure that Kylian Mbappe and Neymar stay right where they are. We have that and much, much more as we begin. Golazo right now. Hey everybody, welcome to Golazo, and I have my friend Fabrizio Romano. Happy New Year, Fabrizio. How are you?
To you, my friend, to our listeners, as always, and thank you. Always a big pleasure to be with you. Ready for the transfer window. We are finally into it, so let's do it.
Let's do it. And this is the first one, the first Fabrizio Romano episode of 2021. As Fabrizio mentioned, this is the opening now, the return of the transfer window in Europe. We should say, by the way, fans, because it's worth remembering, this is the first one post-Brexit. So there are many things, right, Fabrizio, that are going to be very different. For example, things like in terms of getting players, it's a little bit different now. If you are an EU citizen and you are trying to get into the market of the Premier League, for example, it's now about getting a visa, basically the same thing that South American or players from other continents would have to do. It's a points-based system. So the market now looks very different.
Yes, and I think many things are going to change. Also about the timing of the transfers, you know, with the Premier League clubs won't be so easy also to get players. We are going to talk about Amad Diallo, for example, and it's taking a lot of weeks before the player coming to England. So you can understand that also about the timing of the transfers, it won't be like 2 or 3 days to complete something, but you will need more time. And obviously also with the players, it won't be so easy also to close the agreements. So it won't be the same, I think. We are going into a new era for English football, as you said, and it will change a lot just because obviously in the Premier League we have the best clubs in the world, and many things are going to change also for the English clubs too.
Absolutely. And I'm wondering if the attention will be focused now more in Latin America, because there's really no difference now in terms of getting a player. But we will see, and that's for another day. Let's talk about the most recent updates as we begin January transfer window. And of course, we begin in the Premier League. Fabrizio, let's begin with Arsenal. A lot of talk. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal is doing well right now. 3 wins in a row, I believe, and they're looking good. So hopefully they can strengthen their squad. What is the latest with the Gunners as we enter January?
Yes, the idea from the Gunners has always been, first of all, backing the manager. As we always say, they are with Arteta. Also, in a difficult moment, they have always said, we are with Arteta. We are convinced that it's the perfect manager. Also about the transfers, always considering him as part of the future of the club. So they are going with him. Also on the transfers, and we always say they want a quality midfielder. They were trying for Szoboszlai. Now another name, another option we have to consider is Emiliano Buendia from Norwich. Is a possibility, nothing advanced yet, just because, first of all, for Arsenal, it's so important to sell players, and you're gonna hear many times about it, just because top clubs need to sell players right now, and then immediately after they can sign new ones, and that's why Buendia is waiting. He's in the list, one of the names, one of the options, not the only one. But Arsenal now are going to try to sell other players. Socrates, first of all, then immediately after Mesut Ozil. We have a lot of rumors here in Italy and in Europe about Juventus interested in Mesut Ozil, but what we can say is that Juventus are not going to sign Mesut Ozil this January just because they are convinced they are full of quality players like Kulusevski and many others, so they are not going for Ozil. Keep an eye on Turkish football because it's possible he will be in Turkey in the future, but it's up to Arsenal. So now they are focused on selling players, and immediately after they will go for a quality midfielder, and keep an eye on Emiliano Buendia.
Buendia, of course, and Norwich being top of the championship right now. So it would be interesting to see how they maneuver that one. And to your point, Mesut Ozil first deal with that kind of situation, or selling players, and then they can bring in some players, which is kind of really been the Arsenal way always. All right, let's stick in the Premier League. Obviously, we've heard about the Barcelona Man City deal as of late. What's that one about?
Yes, just because we spoke during the weekend on the CBS and our website too about Eric Garcia, and we can confirm that Eric Garcia has a total agreement to join Barcelona this year. So we have to see only if he will join the club in January or next summer as a free agent. But Eric Garcia wants to come back to Barcelona, his club, so he wants to come back to Spain. Also, this is his desire. He has the total agreement also about personal terms, so everything is agreed also with his agent. Many times Pep Guardiola and all the board of Manchester City, they were trying to convince the guy to stay at Manchester City, also with a new contract, with important wages, great salary really, but Eric Garcia said, no, I want to go to Barcelona. So it's not a signed deal yet, just because Barcelona are waiting for the new president. The elections of Barcelona will change the future for sure of Leo Messi, as we said, but also of many other deals for Barcelona. So when they will have the new president, they will decide also if signing Eric Garcia, but the actual board, they are convinced that he will be part of Barcelona plans. They have an agreement with the player. So I'm sure that Eric Garcia is going to join Barcelona this year.
Eric Garcia from Man City, from one former Premier League champion to one defending Premier League champion, Liverpool. Much talk has been said about what Liverpool need to do in January in order to make sure that they maintain the Premier League title. What's the latest with Jurgen Klopp's squad?
Yeah, there are a lot of rumors about centre-backs, because they had a lot of injuries with centre-backs. So it's normal that Liverpool are looking at the transfer market for some possibilities. First of all, we have to say that Liverpool don't want to spend a lot of money on the January transfer window. They're planning for something interesting next summer, but nothing big right now. So that's why they are considering if there are some good opportunities, they can go for it. If not, they can stay with this team. So this is the idea of the board and of Jurgen Klopp. There are a lot of rumors also about Botman, centre-back. He's doing amazing, really, with Lille in French Champions League, Champions team. And they're convinced that the player has a future in the Premier League. But right now, there is absolutely nothing with Liverpool, nothing advanced. So we have to wait, in my opinion, to understand Liverpool's strategy, just because at the moment they are not in talks for any centre-back. But if some opportunity will arrive, who knows? In the transfer window, everything can happen, and we are into it.
Especially as Ligue 1 teams are dealing with so many financial issues. You never know. All right, let's finish the Premier League with Manchester United. A lot of talk about what they're doing as well in the transfer market, specifically with young players. They're doing well in the league. What's the latest with them? And Amad Diallo from Atalanta.
Finally, he's coming, just because we receive a lot of messages from Manchester United fans when he's coming, because it was an official deal on the last window. You remember in summer, they announced the deal with Atalanta, 25 million euro and 15 million euro as add-ons. So the deal was completed, but he was needing some paperwork to be done in these days. Amad Diallo has been in Rome in these hours to complete everything. And in the next days, he will be in Manchester to join Manchester United. And Atalanta were trying to keep him for next 6 months on loan till the end of the season to Atalanta, because Papu Gomez is going to leave the club. He's a total difficult situation with Gasperini, as we said. So they were hoping to keep Amad Diallo at the club till the end of the season, but Manchester United said no, the player is joining Manchester United immediately. Solskjaer wants Diallo, and also the player is really excited to join Manchester United. So he's coming in some days.
Diallo is coming in some days. Good news for Red Devils, the Manchester United fan base. And by the way, Moises Casado as well. Apparently, Fabrizio, I wrote about it. You, of course, reported about it. CBS Sports. I know him very well in terms of just the World Cup qualifiers. An exciting Ecuadorian star. And it's up to the club, right, at this point. We know that Moises Casado is interested at the very least. His hero is actually Antonio Valencia, the former fullback for Manchester United. So that one is up to Manchester United as well, right?
Yes, we can confirm that at the moment Manchester United, they feel they control the situation. They are in talks with his agent, also with the club. They are negotiating about the fee. So Manchester United are seriously thinking to go for Moises Caicedo. It's not a done deal yet because, as you said, Brexit and also work permit. You have a lot of things to look when you want to sign this kind of players. And also because Manchester United are going to decide for their budget on young players. They signed Pelistri, they signed Diallo. So they have to decide if spending other money on a young talent as Caicedo or going for different players and different strategy. But they are still in contact with his agents. So yes, we can consider him as a target for Manchester United.
It would be great for another South American to enter the Premier League. We'll wait and see. All right, let's leave the Premier League here, Fabrizio, and let's go to the rest of Europe. And let's talk about Bryan Reynolds. We've talked a lot about him, reported a lot about him, of course, thanks to you and your sources. What's the latest on the American from FC Dallas?
Yes, I have to tell you that I spent a difficult Christmas just because I had a lot of rumors, a lot of USA fans texting me, Fabrizio, but Reynolds is a done deal with Juventus. It's finally done. He signed for Juventus. I would love to say yes, just because we said many times that Juventus are negotiating really with his agent, as Roma, as Bruges. So a lot of clubs are negotiating, but no one at the moment have the agreement to sign Reynolds. And if Juventus will sign Reynolds, we have to say that he's not joining the club immediately. He's going to another club because Juventus can't sign right now any extra European player. So that's why Juventus are just waiting, in contact with his agent, as Roma, as also Bruges. They are talking with people around the player, talking with Dallas, but nothing is done yet. So we have to wait, but I think it's just a matter of some weeks because the player is an amazing talent, as we said, and a lot of clubs are negotiating to sign him. So in some days we will understand if he will join Juventus, but it would be with another club. So we have to say he's joining another Italian club if he will go to Juventus, and then Juventus will be his destination for the future.
Okay, so be patient, American fans. I know, because I get it too as well, Fabrizio, on social media. Everybody relax, all right? There is interest, of course, but still not a done deal yet. All right, let's stay in Serie A just for a brief moment here, Fabrizio. AC Milan, a good win this past weekend with 10 men. They maintained their lead in Serie A. What's the latest with them and some other key players?
Yes, because AC Milan want to buy new players this January, so they are going for a centre-back, and we have to make the name of Mohamed Simakan. He's playing in Strasbourg, and we're talking about young, French, talented guys, in the Ligue 1, as you said before. They have no fear. They play with young players always. He's a good centre-back. He can play also as a right-back if you need. So that's why AC Milan are thinking to make a bid for him. He was in the list also during the summer, and right now they're going to try again for Mohamed Simakan. So they're going for him, and we have always to remember to resolve two important cases with Çalhanoğlu and Donnarumma contracts, because their contracts are going to expire next June. So they have to talk with their agents. They are in contact, but it's not a done agreement with Donnarumma and with Çalhanoğlu. So we will talk about them, I think, on following weeks.
Awesome. All right. When we return, everybody, we got a few more pieces, including Mauricio Pochettino as he begins his life, his tenure with PSG. And of course, David Alaba. Where is he going? Stay right here. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with Fabrizio Romano, and we finish our episode on Monday with a few more pieces of information. Mauricio Pochettino, Fabrizio, we've talked about it. You reported it. You broke the news with Jonathan Johnson here for CBS Sports. He joined. He's had his first day of training already. He's already talking with the players, etc. What is the latest with him? Because one of the biggest pieces, I'm sure, is dealing with Kylian Mbappe and Neymar Jr.
First of all, before talking of Paris Saint-Germain, I have to say that Jonathan is amazing. So when you want to talk about Paris Saint-Germain, always check with Jonathan. We talk always together because Jonathan is amazing, really. And as you said, we were working about Pochettino, and now we're working to understand what's going on at Paris Saint-Germain with the new signings. And you mentioned Mbappe and Neymar, and you are absolutely right, just because Paris Saint-Germain, they think that keeping Mbappe and Neymar next season would be like two new signings. So they want to extend their contract. They are negotiating with their agents. It's not easy, because when you negotiate with Neymar and with Mbappe, it's never easy to find an economical agreement with their agents. It's not just about the player. You have to consider about the commission, the agent, the family, the player, a lot of club interested. So it's never easy, but Paris Saint-Germain are working on these two players. They are going to have a new meeting between Pochettino and Leonardo to decide about new incoming players in January. Keep an eye on the situation of Dele Alli, because it's possible, as we say, that he's going to leave Tottenham. At the moment, there is nothing with Paris Saint-Germain, but they were interested last summer. Now there is Pochettino. So let's see if Paris Saint-Germain will move to try for Dele Alli.
Interesting. Dele Alli, the topic of conversation. That could be an interesting move for PSG. And by the way, Jonathan Johnson gets a lot of promotion here on Golazo, so don't you worry. We love our little JJ.
He's the number one.
An Aston Villa fan as well, Fabrizio, so I'm very happy with him as well, so it's fine. All right, let's finish off, Fabrizio, with David Alaba, the Bayern Munich defender. There's a lot of rumors of where he's going. What's his latest on 2021? What's the latest on David Alaba?
Yes, because on our last column, and here we go on the CBS website, we say that Bayern Munich were really disappointed because they understood last week that David Alaba was going to leave the club, so no chance to extend his contract. His agent received an offer from 5 different clubs. They are in negotiation, trying to understand how much he wants as wages. Also, big commission asked by his agent as a top free agent. So it's normal in transfer market, this kind of situation. But Real Madrid are really strongly interested. They are negotiating with his agent. It's not a done deal. It's not signed yet. So Real Madrid are one of the clubs who are working to sign David Alaba. They are in contact with his agent. They are going to try, I think, on next days, making a new bid to Alaba to convince him, but it's not done yet. Pay attention, because on next week, Alaba will make his decision, and Real Madrid are for sure in the race.
This is interesting, Fabrizio, because I'm wondering if that has anything to do with Sergio Ramos's future, right? I mean, and obviously he wants to stay there. He wants to play in the new stadium, but we're hearing rumors about also where he could go. But I'm wondering if that's something to do with it, or it's just the fact that Real Madrid just want to strengthen as a squad, especially at the back.
I think it's not, we can't say that it's totally linked just because, when you have a free agent like Alaba in this difficult moment on the transfer market where spending 100 or 150 million euro for a top player is really difficult also for Real Madrid. They know that next summer will be so difficult to sign top players. So having a free agent like Alaba, okay, you have a big salary, you have big commissions to pay, but the value of the player is of a top player. So that's why Real Madrid are considering him as a big opportunity and not absolutely linked with Ramos, also because he can play as a center back, left back, midfielder, everywhere. Alaba is an amazing player. So that's why they are working with Sergio Ramos, as you said, but also on Alaba as a free agent.
So a lot of big clubs doing a lot of negotiation right now. Stay tuned and make sure that you follow Fabrizio Romano on Twitter and read him every single week on CBS Sports. And you can listen to him and watch him right here on Golazo every week. Fabrizio Romano, thank you so much, brother. Happy New Year.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, guys. And see you on next days. We will be ready with a lot of breaking news, I'm sure. Ciao.
I want to thank Fabrizio Romano for joining me today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter on Golazo Pod. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. Please leave a rating and review if you can. We are every single day. And make sure that you also watch us on YouTube. We have the video part of this episode. We have this and so much more to come. Have a great beginning to your week.